Hello everyone and welcome to another video with me, Umber Rays. Today we're going to be talking about War of the Visions. Yesterday I talked about from the FFBE side, because right now War of the Visions and Final Fantasy Brave Exvius are having a crossover event. Some stuff from Brave Exvius is coming over to War of the Visions, and I just realized that my audio is a little loud. Just going to take that down just a smidge. Because this so anyway, on the JP side, we are having this collaboration, but before we start, I'll cover a little bit of global news that happened. Global has a release date, yes. So that's kind of why I have the bombing mission music playing. Anyway, yes, Global does have finally a release date, which will probably be, a big, exciting thing for a lot of people on the Global side who have been waiting to play this game, who haven't wanted to, dig into the JP side. Congratulations. Now you can learn from all of our mistakes about, playing efficiently. But anyway, so where was I? Oh yeah. So what is the date? Well, apparently it is March 25th. The iOS pre-registrations opened up just recently, but overall, March 25th will be the launch date for the version. It's given the fact that one of the pre-registrations is Final Fantasy XIV's Ishtola, one of the bonuses. Basically, Anyway, based on the fact that Final Fantasy XIV's Ishtola is going to be one of the bonus things at launch, more than likely you will be following the exact kind of path that JP has taken. There might be global exclusive stuff, but I wouldn't necessarily count on it for the first little bit. We'll have to wait and see. But so I'm going to be making this week some review videos, some advice videos, and if you're wondering anything about that for global stuff, you should definitely check those out and learn a lot from what us JP players have experienced for the first 4 months, so that you can plan how to better use your resources, as resources are pretty limited unless you're spending a ton of money. Isn't she just a little cutie? Alright, so now that I've done that, let's talk about the JP side, because the JP side has a whole bunch of stuff going for it right now. First of all, over the next week or so, I think it's a little bit longer than a week, every 3 days or so, there's going to be one of these multi-element banners with the pity timer on it. Basically, you do multiples. If you get a UR, great. If you don't get a UR, not great, but still we'll work towards boosting this little gauge right here. It goes up 20% for each multiple. After you've hit the max, the next multiple that you get will be guaranteed a UR character or a UR card from the banner. So they are multi-elements. So here's fire and wind. There's also going to be a thunder and ice. There's going to be and each of them has a specific associated UR character. So if there's a character that you're looking for on the JP side, this is free lapis. You don't have to buy with paid lapis or anything like that, so there you go. Now, as for what is the current banner on the JP side, say hello to Rain. Rain has come to the JP side, and he looks to be a pretty darn strong character, but not necessarily for Arena. So far as I can tell, Rain looks like he is going to be particularly useful for the more harder tier content in the game that requires you to have incredibly powerful units, and he looks to be an incredibly powerful unit. So I'm going to talk a little bit about him before we look at what is new in this event. So this event also has a couple of UR cards. I will take a quick look at them in a second, but first I really want to, if I can find where the hell it is. There he is. Alright, so Rain. What is Rain? Because, what is Rain? But anyway, what type of character is Rain? Well, we found out that now he is basically not like the original version of Rain in Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. He's actually more akin to Awakened Rain, basically meaning that he is a magic tank. Why is this a big deal on the JP side in War of the Visions currently? Well, here's why it is a big deal. Rain, currently in a lot of different modes, mages are a huge problem for a lot of reasons. The biggest problem that I currently have with mages is the fact that Medenia, an ice mage in the game, has her access to her limit burst right at the start, and it's capable of AoE nuking an entire team, especially given that the AI in the game can group people together, which usually gets a lot of people killed when Medenia is there. She has access to her limit burst right from the start. It's been a little bit of an unfair advantage since the game launched. Well, now Rain has the ability to protect your characters. He's also a fire elemental character, meaning that he is not going to be subject to Medenia's shit. He is capable of both not only protecting himself from an incredibly high spirit and abilities that make him more magic damage resistant, he is also capable of protecting your team too. He has high HP, he's just and as it turns out, he is also a mage himself. He can dish out magic damage and has a really, really strong magic stat with high magic, or with high HP and high defensive capabilities. So Rain is essentially really good. All of his kit seems to synchronize particularly well. He has Red Mage, Knight, as well as his special class, Knight. Anyway, the point is that Rain is an incredibly well-built kit, especially for what a lot of people are currently experiencing on the JP side, frustration, fighting a whole bunch of Medenias. Long story short, mages are going to be a little bit less common, and this will probably be a little bit good for the meta too. There's just so many times where you run into Medenia in Arena, and not only Medenia, you also run into a lot of tanks. So this character is just particularly really, really good for what the current side has. I'm sure there'll be something to counter him. I mean, there's technically already a unit, Vanessa, who is a kind of evadey unit that can pierce high defense, would probably be a good counter for this already, but yeah, I think Rain is particularly going to find a nice spot in the current meta, all things considered. But that was not the only piece today. It was besides... Oh, I should also... Shoot. I should talk about the 2 cards. Let's just bring those up. Alright, so... Going back to the banner. Just going to navigate these real quickly. Click over. Alright, here we are. So, each of these, there are 2 cards for the Mobius Crossover, which is a little weird because I thought this was supposed to be a Brave Exvius crossover, yet here we are with Mobius as well. There's a Mobius SSR card that you get for logging in. There's also a Mobius card that you get for pulling on the banner. It has the effect of increasing magic power, so obviously it's pretty good for Rain, who is a magic-based character. Also good for any of the other mages in the game. Not really much else to say. It also increases shooting resistance. Again, really good for mages. Mages have a problem of, potentially being sniped by characters such as Frederica or Lucia, or, any character with a long-range shooting type damage. So this card will protect your mages a little bit. Not perfectly, but if it protected perfectly, I probably would be trying to get it way more than what I am currently getting it. The other card, is an SSR too. It's not a UR, sorry, my bad. Vision card with improved ice resistance. Again, trying to work into the idea of solving a little bit of the Medenia problem. Ice resistance, and also has the effect of increasing quickness, meaning that characters are just faster to get stuff done. Not really much else to say about that. So that is basically the banner. Do I recommend on pulling on it? Potentially. If you're interested in the higher level content, Rain does seem like you'll be pretty good for a lot of things. There's also the repeat of the current old banner, or one of the current old events for Yerma, this red-haired UR wind-based character from the past, along with, I believe her name is Patia, a SSR-free monk-based character. So you can do that again. There's the couple of old weapon events you can get to make a fist, a spear, an axe, or a greatsword. Cool. And that's about it for that. And then we finally get into the thing that is really interesting. Finally, War of the Visions has a new event type. this has been something that I have been particularly waiting for a long time, because so far it's just been, you know, grind events, and then there's Raid, which is also a grind event, so it's kind of neat to see a brand new type, the White Tower, I do believe it's called, which is basically kind of a challenge tower. Going up, you will get rewards such as tickets, you will get gold, or gil, or whatever, and a currency that you can spend in the Mog shop to get things such as UR orbs or recipe books for great swords or crafting materials. Either way, all of that stuff is pretty nice to get your hands on. Now, as you go up the tower, it gets more and more and more difficult. As a matter of fact, it is going to be pretty difficult getting to the top tier. Top tier features level 99 characters such as Medina, which is particularly scary, or Engelbert, the top tank. So really, to get this high level UR class weapon, you are going to need a pretty darn good team. Oh, there's also Vanessa in there, because it wasn't, I guess, difficult enough. Woof. There are also 2 EX stages as well. These EX stages will be more difficult than the regular stages. One at level 10, one at level 19, but that you can unlock, and just going to be there for people who really are looking for more difficulty. But what is super interesting about this is not content that is based on grinding. This is actually content that is wholly around the idea of challenge and being able to, you know, fight at increasing levels. This is the thing that I think has really sorely been missing in this game, because tactics is not particularly overly about grinding. Like, I think more about challenges, having to think about how you spread your resources out. Currently, I am at a difficulty level that is, you know, not quite that difficult, but as you go up in the ranks, it gets quite a bit more difficult. Now, this event is also around for a fair amount of days, but what's interesting is that characters' HP is progressive between stages. In other words, meaning that as you are going up through the stages, your character's HP is preserved in whatever state it was. So if you take it right now, that 78 damage that has been done to my character, the 100 damage that has been done to my character, is still going to be there for the next stage. Now, I've heard that a fully incapacitated team would take approximately 48 hours to fully regenerate all of them. So if you do die, well, there is a time penalty to it. It might, probably eventually will have some kind of item or something that you can use to just go again. But it is an interesting idea to make content that is, again, based more around strategy and thinking ahead and making sure that your team building is correct and whatnot, as opposed to just, well, I'm just going to smash my face into this trial, or it's just about repeating it over and over and over again. This is pretty interesting. Now, in terms of the difficulty spike, really can't comment on it at this point in time, because I have no idea how bad the high-level stages will be, though I'm guessing that, yeah, by the time you get up to about floor 10 even, I think it's going to be starting to get pretty darn difficult. But the rewards do reflect that, with UR orbs, tickets for, I do believe, shards, again, more coins for the exchange and whatnot. But just as you're going up, you're getting more and more rewards for it. So I think it's generally okay. Overall, I quite like the formatting of this new event. It is a new event type that will give something to go along with, and it's basically kind of getting into that idea of trials. Yeah, because that's one of the things that I think has been really missing. But anyway, so to go over the general thoughts about everything that has happened, first of all, good for Global. Global's going to be getting a release. We'll see how the Global launch is affected by what is progressed on the JP side, whether it's faster, whether there are global events. All of this stuff remains to be questioned, although I think at this point it's a pretty easy guarantee that we are going to see um, probably, and more than probably, I should say, hopefully, we're going to see a lot of improved content. Like, hopefully the raids will work from the start and everything like that. But anyway, March 25th, about 1 week away. Not very long you have to wait for at all. So I'm sure that'll be awesome for some people. And as the music fades out, I'll quickly fill. Rain, I think, is a really good character, not only for this event, but also for the current meta on the JP side. How long he'll be good for, that I don't know. It's kind of, there's always a character to counter a character, and that might be a better way than just, overall power creep. But Rain is a mage, so he'll start with his AP, meaning that he can use his limit burst right from the get-go. Overall, I feel like he's going to be a pretty strong recommendation for a really good character. And the new event, I do like that it actually does have, a little bit more of a focus on strategy, even though I'm autoing it for the lower stages, because those are too easy. Don't worry, eventually I'll get to the hard content. But so long as it's easy enough for people to get into, or to, get something out of it, I think it's generally good. And, oh yeah, one last thing I didn't mention. There is a step up, a 3-tier step up, 3 10 pulls. This is paid Lapis. Each step guarantees a UR, either a UR unit or I do believe a UR card. And step 3 guarantees a FFB unit. One of the 4 here, Eileen, Medina, Ayaka, or Rain. So if you're spending money on Lapis, then this is and you want Rain, this is probably a pretty good way to get it. But there is like a 25% chance on the final step. But hey, maybe you'll get lucky. Don't know. Otherwise than that, there's the regular banner. And so last piece of advice for any global people still watching this video: if you do not get a banner character within 1 or 2 multis, that's usually the sign that you should stop. Very rare little good comes out of just going super hard. Like, even as you can see here, Rain has an up rate, but if you don't get them pretty quickly, that's usually when you should stop. Anyway, I hope you global people are excited. I'll be trying to put out quite a bit of content, daily load of content until the game launches, to give you guys a lot of advice and news and all that good stuff. So anyway, hope you're excited. From me and Ishii here. See you in the game. Thanks for watching.